Lights, camera, action!
Jean-Luc Godard is a French-Swiss director who took inspiration from typical Hollywood films and turned them into poetic works of art. He was against how it was a norm for established directors to work their way up to become what they are and being celebrated more than newer, more fresh directors. Godard had a style of doing last-minute shoots like Le Petit Soda, and he did this to purposely give himself enough time to think through and know exactly what he wanted. It took 5 weeks to film, but only 2 weeks to shoot. Vive sa vie was shot over 4 weeks, but the actual recording only took 3 weeks. This annoyed the talents that he worked with, as they would be stuck waiting around not knowing if anything would actually be shot that day. When he shot Breathless, lots of the pre-production, which wasn't much in the first place, was scrapped, and he improvised most of it on set. When he was on set, he would tell the actors, "You are so and so, take it from there." Michel, who was played by Jean-Paul Belmondo, did not even come up with the lines. It was shot with no sound, and Godard cued the lines. In an interview with Godard, he mentioned that he thought he had made a realistic film after shooting Breathless, but after realizing he did not have enough technical skills to pull it off, he realized that he was not meant for films like Richard Queen's Pushover that simulated life and would suck you into this entire world. Godard is one of the most well-known directors that made up the French New Wave. This movement began in the late 1950s and consisted of directors like François Truffaut, Jacques Rivette, Eric Rohmer. Alain René, known to be one of the most influential movements of filmmaking today due to its rebellious ideals as it went against the path that French cinema followed. The New Wave films are also notorious for not showing the audience what they expected from a film. Still, the movement was popular in places like Portland, Italy, Brazil, Japan, and the US. Godard was known to go against the rules of conventional filmmaking and all its aspects. The editing would be non-continuous and full of jump cuts for emphasis. Whenever a different camera angle would be placed, instead of moving shots, he would just make the entire camera move. This resulted in minimal editing. And his peculiar shooting system, by shooting scene by scene in chronological order and following everything on the script to a T. Godard utilizes lighting to his advantage, implying things on the audience like how My Life to Live and the dark lighting shows Nana's internal conflict. He also plays around with lighting and recreates the mood a car driving through traffic late at night by moving lights in front of the car. It's kind of obvious, but at that time it worked. By using different colors in Pierrot Le Fou, the visual representation of the colors give the audience a clearer picture of by giving Marianne a striking red color and following it through the entire film, and blue to Pierrot, it shows us how different these two characters can be. Reoccurring themes, or in this case actress Anna Karina, who was at one point Godard's wife, is mainly the protagonist in a lot of his films. Godard is also known to break the fourth wall very often in these films, and it affects the audience in a way that we know that we are watching a film and we're not sucked into a separate universe and using it as an escape, especially during this time. By breaking the fourth wall, it is clear that Godard's techniques are more unusual, and it's a bit unsettling to know that the characters in the film are looking right at you and talking to you. In conclusion, Godard is known for his unusual style and techniques and ways of filming. His films often revolve around one woman in a world that revolves around her. And the world sort of evolves and changes and adapts to that woman. As the director who started out as a critique, he is extremely particular about the things he wants and does not want in his films. And by approaching these films in a very unrealistic point of view, and its poetic devices and metaphors hidden within the film, makes his work one of a kind.
On se demande pour